let's talk about Shonta and True. In this last episode, we see Shonta drive off after True told her that he didn't want to be with her anymore. And then she pulls over down the street and she was just hysterical. She was crying her eyes out, talking about how she should have listened to everybody else. They were trying to warn her. And I mean, people did try to point out and warn her, but Shonta put on her blinders, ignored what everyone said, and now she's learning the hard way. And while she's sitting there crying, True walked down the street because he can hear her crying all the way down the street, and he decides to try to jump in her car and talk to her. And he's like, "Are you going to talk to me?" And she's like, "What do you want from me?" He said, "Well, are we still going to be friends?" And she's like, "What are we going to be friends for?" "No, I don't want to be your friend." And True didn't seem to care one bit. He didn't show any bit of interest. He just hops out of the car and says, "Yeah, it's over from here." Like he was waiting for that moment so he can go ahead and call Shonta 2.0. This man could not wait to get back to the Airbnb and call his sister and let her know that he had just broken up with Shonta and he was single again. And this is why I feel like men who do years in prison, they just need to get out and be single for a while. Experience being single, get it all out of their system, because otherwise a lot of times they just get out and they're not ready to be faithful to one person, and then that person ends up getting hurt. True should have just got out and been single, but I feel like he didn't because he needed someone like Shonta to buy him all these fancy clothes and pants and bandanas to wear around his hands. I mean, what would he have done if he didn't have Shonta to give him a fresh out of prison starter pack? And then we see Shonta later on with her daughter, and I believe it was her niece, and her daughter is pregnant as F. She's about to pop, it looks like any day now, and her daughter needed to get a few more essentials at the baby store. So this is a day that's supposed to be about the daughter and celebrating her bundle of joy that's going to be here soon, but we get to the store and Shonta directs the attention on her and says, "Hey, what do you guys think about this little yaya bag right here? It's a mommy bag." And the daughter was like, "Yeah, that's cool and all, but I mean, all your kids are almost grown. What are you going to use that for? I guess you can use it as a backpack." And Shonta was like, "Yeah, I'm going to need this because I'm pregnant." And her daughter and her niece could not believe it. And they're like, "Well, who's the father?" And she said, "Who do you think it would be? It's True." And they're like, "Well, you haven't seen True in a hot minute." And she claims that she got pregnant the first night he got out after they went to the sex shop. But here's the kicker. Not only is she pregnant with one baby, she's pregnant with two babies. I just don't understand why they thought it was a good idea to do it, have unprotected sex. The very first night he got out, she said, well, he wanted to have a baby, but he wanted to wait like a year, but neither one of them were doing anything to prevent it, and True must have those super swimmers because he knocked her up with a quickness. And she said she has yet to tell True at this time, but she is planning to, and she said, "I'm looking forward to having these babies. I'm not going to lie. I initially had an appointment set up to terminate the pregnancies, but then I changed my mind and decided I'm going to make this happen with or without True." She said she always wanted a big family. She grew up with like 6 kids in her family. And with these twins, I think she's going to be pushing close to 6. I can't remember how many kids she has. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know. But she said that she's willing to take this on. The next thing you know, we see Shonta just walking down the street. I don't understand why she's on the phone walking down the side of the street with her car parked. I guess they just wanted to see like her full body reaction when she told True the news that she was pregnant. And then we see True at this gas station in a car. Looks like he finally got the car he had been saving up for. And Shantae calls him, and True gets his big ass on top of the middle of this car and just sits down on it at the gas station. Like, he looked like he was about to start filming a music video or something. And I'm honestly shocked he didn't leave a big dent in the car when he got up. This is what tells me True hasn't had a car for very long, if this is the way he sits down to talk on the phone. Like, why not just sit down in your car and talk on the phone? Unless the producers asked him not to sit in his car, kind of like it looked like they may have done with Shantae, so they could have got like a full body reaction of him finding out that he has 2 babies on the way. And True was like, oh, I've been good. And she's like, well, where have you been staying at? And he said that he's been staying with his mom up until recently. And then he got kicked out because Shantae 2.0 called his mom and spilled some tea to his mom. And his mom got mad and kicked him out. And then he was asked, well, who have you been staying with? He's like, oh, I got a roommate. And she's like, well, is it a female? And he's like, why are you asking me all these questions? He was starting to feel like he was being interrogated by the police. And she's like, well, I'm just trying to see what you're up to. And then she said, yeah, and by the way, I'm pregnant. And he's playing dumb, like, who's the father? And she's like, it's you. And he's like, okay, I'm going to come down there then. And she's like, what for? And he's like, don't worry about it, I'm coming down. And I guess he's going to try to come figure it out with Shantae. And I guess this is when we're going to see them get back together. Everything is unfolding just like Shantae 2.0 has told us so far. And the producers were like, yeah, were you knocking boots with your roommate? And True said, I plead the fifth. And which just pretty much tells me yes. But we already knew that because Shantae spilled the beans to me that True ended up living with her actually before he moved in with his mom, and then things went bad with her, and then he moved in with his mom, and then that's when she told his mom whatever, and his mom kicked him out. Then he moved in with another girl that he was hooking up with, and this other girl actually had a threesome allegedly with him and Shantae 2.0. So True was out here doing the absolute most in these streets while Shantae was back up in Independence. If you watch my videos, and this isn't a spoiler, but if this is one of your first videos you're watching, or you didn't see my exposing True video, then we're allegedly gonna see Shantae. Well, I don't know if we're gonna see her, but we're gonna find out that Shantae ends up miscarrying the twins, but she gets pregnant again not too long after she ends up miscarrying. And she's supposed to be like super pregnant right now. Last I heard, she hasn't had the baby yet. I was noticing in some of her live videos recently, when she stands certain ways, you can see her belly. And you can tell, like, I know the last live I was watching, she purposely looked like she was trying to cover her belly with a pillow. Like she had her pillow on her lap the whole time, and I think that was a way for her to cover how pregnant she really is and tried to avoid it getting out that she was pregnant before it came out, because this is before this last episode aired. Shantae responded to a post in a Facebook group where someone said, so wait, Shantae's daughter is pregnant and Shantae's pregnant with twins? And Shantae said, y'all do realize my daughter is grown, 20, lives with her fiance in her own house, is a LPN working towards a RN. She's good, I promise. For me being a teen mom and her dad passing when I was a 3-month pregnant, y'all could never hurt me with those comments. She's definitely my biggest accomplishment and flex in life. Then she posted on her personal Facebook, my oldest daughter is 20. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. She's an LPN. She's been with the same man for 5 years. She's engaged and still in nursing school, her own house, car, and my grandkids are the best mentally and health-wise. Me or her being a teen mom didn't stop Ish. I promise she's my biggest flex ever. Then Shantae wanted to clear something up, and she said that she did tell True that she had lupus. She said that she just didn't let him know that she was flaring up, and she claims like when she was at that Airbnb, she was flaring up and she didn't tell him that's what she was going through then, but she claims that he had already knew that she had had it for a while. But that is pretty much it with Shonta and True. Let me know what you guys think about these two in the comments below, and Shonta being pregnant. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.